In this section, I am not allowed to allow my eccentricity and creativity to break the laws of mathematics. Up till now, this is what I've been exactly doing. The way I have talked about mathematics up till now is totally unconventional. I'm sure that you have never heard anybody talk about mental calculus or even the 13 components of mathematics. In one way, it is outrageous. But again, what I have found out in my counseling sessions with students indicating difficulties in learning mathematics is that the way I coach them mathematics, as you have experienced so far, works marvelously for them. During the counseling itself, they get so many aha moments. Their pupils grow big, and all their body language indicates that they are now at ease with mathematics. Again, because of the nature of my role as a counselor in the various colleges, I could not follow up on the effect of that session in their grades later on. But hopefully, after this book gets widely circulated and it becomes part of a pedagogy of some schools or colleges, I will be able to assess the long-term effect of my counseling sessions based on the four-brain learning approach. I am sure that there will be some good news that it changed the students' life and they began to love mathematics. Also, I'm sure that there will be some bad news, like it did nothing, or worse, it confused the students, resulting in lower grades. I am open to both possibilities, but to reach that stage, I need to complete this chapter. So, this particular section is about the left lower brain, or the skill brain quadrant, or the blue quadrant, as you can see in the diagram. This is how mathematics is being taught in schools and colleges. It's taught as a procedure that requires the completion and the adherence to certain rules, like any sport. Mathematics too has a goal, and that is to find the answer. Like in football, you cannot use your hands, or in basketball, you cannot use your legs. Similarly, there are rules for the 13 different components of mathematics and other realms of mathematics also that needs to be followed. And this is what this type of teaching based on the blue quadrant is all about. In fact, the approach of teaching mathematics from the blue quadrant is the reason why most students are not able to love mathematics and even start hating it. The syllabus makers didn't want to alienate students from mathematics, but they themselves were dominated by the skilled brain quadrant or blue quadrant. In their defense, what I can say is that their reasoning was that first they have to know the rules and the process. This is about the blue quadrant learning. Then they need to know the overall principles or the big picture of what they have learned, and that is related to the left upper brain or knowledge brain quadrant or green quadrant. Then the student, now having a strong foundation on the definitions, rules, and processes, as well as the overall principles of mathematics, is now allowed to expand the application of mathematics to other fields. So this bridging is all about the right upper brain quadrant or the wisdom brain quadrant or the yellow brain quadrant. Then finally, the student is now allowed to see mathematics in everyday life. He's allowed to observe the real world and use the bridging processes that he learned along with all the principles and the rules and processes so that he can model reality into mathematical equations and concepts that is related to the right lower brain quadrant, or the information brain quadrant, or the red brain quadrant. Now you see, it's a very long process. Who has got the patience to get the fruit of learning mathematics by waiting so long? How long, you'll ask? Well, the current mathematical syllabus keeps you in the blue quadrant approach to learning mathematics until class 12. Then if you go into engineering, you will be allowed to learn mathematics using the green brain approach. Also, if you study pure mathematics, the same applies. Then in your master's degree, you will be able to venture out by bridging the learnings that you had gotten from mathematics in the blue quadrant and the green quadrant with other fields. They could be about physics, economics, and even biology. Then finally, when you are doing your PhD, you are supposed to actually find a real life problem that you can solve using all the mathematics that you have learned up till all those 18 years. Can you see the ridiculousness of this journey for learning mathematics? The saddest part is the love of mathematics occurs in the red brain approach of learning. How can you know that your parents love you unless they show you? Similarly, how can anybody love mathematics just by listing out the rules of mathematics? You need to show them how it applies in their daily lives and how they can see mathematics, use it, and feel it on a day-to-day basis. So this is where my four-brain learning approach comes in, especially for mathematics. The old approach to teaching mathematics is outdated today. Even if it's not in the syllabus, the students will go on YouTube and get directly to the red brain quadrant learning of mathematics by asking what is the real life application of algebra, for example. Unlike in my times when I completed my studies before 1998. Today, students do not need to depend on the syllabus or even on any teachers. They can make their own syllabus and tailor their own learning approach using YouTube and artificial intelligence, not to mention Google. However, the content of this book is not for those smart, genius kids. I would have been one of them if I was in school or college. Now, this four-brain learning approach, they already know it, even though they call it by some other names or they don't have a name for it. Instead, this book and this particular chapter on mathematics are for those students who are not bright enough to design their own syllabus and know what learning style works best for them. Consequently, they do not know what to search on YouTube. They do not know how to select the websites that Google throws at them. And finally, they do not know how to write the prompts correctly to get artificial intelligence actually providing them the help that they are seeking at that particular moment. So we live in a time where everything is available beyond the imagination of any of the smartest kids in the 1990s. However, only the smartest kids can actually make use of all this technological advancement. Isn't that a pity? And this is what I have found out in my interaction on a one-to-one basis with the students in the various colleges. There are some students who are so smart at using YouTube, Google, and AI, even in learning mathematics, that I have to bow in front of them figuratively. These kids don't even need to attend classes. The teachers and the administration runs after them, and they seem like outrageous. But what they are doing is they are making their own syllabus, learning in the best way that suits them from the comfort of their home or a coffee shop or in the corridor using their mobile phones. And these kids are getting A plus or GPA 4 out of 4. So I'm not aiming my book towards them. As a teacher, don't bother about them because they already know what they are doing and where they are going. What I'm concerned are the students on the opposite spectrum and those in the middle that would constitute of bell curve, of course. Forget those on the right side, the genius ones. This is my main position in this chapter and in this book as a whole. In the past decades, there has been efforts by many writers to create this love of mathematics. They do not write textbooks, but they write non-fiction books. In the process of writing this book and this chapter, I read dozens of them. What I found in common with all of them is that they've done a great job at demystifying mathematics, but they are all people with high credentials, like some of them are PhDs, some are pure mathematicians, some are scientists, some are professors. They all have got high stake to not break the laws of mathematics like I have done in this chapter. Before I explain what I mean by that, I want to talk about the effect of their writing. So they have risen above the boring aspect of mathematics. However, it's still something alien to most of the people because they are too uptight. They adhere to the laws of mathematics, the convention of mathematics, the orthodoxy of mathematics. They don't want to talk about ridiculous things like mental calculus. That would be career suicide. That's what I'm saying. They have a too high stake in mathematics to actually teach mathematics properly in a way that at least 90% of the population could love it. Let me explain using the diagram what I mean by abiding to the laws of mathematics in part of those writers. So there were mainly three writers that I was highly impressed with in terms of their closeness to the four-brain approach that I am professing throughout this book. The best one is Jordan Ellenberg with his book How Not to Be Wrong. The second one is Mario Livio with the book Is God a Mathematician? And the third writer that impressed me a lot is Stephen Strauss-Gartz with his book Infinite Powers, How Calculus Reveals the Secret of the Universe. Now, all these people have got very good intentions, as I told you, to demystify mathematics and make it look appear friendly. All of them are highly educated. In terms of my four-brain model, they start from the knowledge brain quadrant or the green quadrant. They talk about what mathematics is for, the big picture of mathematics, the principles governing mathematics, the history of mathematics, the application of mathematics. Then they talk about this rules, definitions, formulas of mathematics. You can see in the diagram as the arrow denoted by 1A. From the skill brain quadrant or the blue quadrant, then finally they move to the real life application or use of the mathematics that they were talking about. They help us see where math is used and how it is used in daily examples. That is denoted by 2A. Then from the information brain quadrant or the red quadrant, they finally move to the yellow brain quadrant. that is denoted by the arrow 3A. Now they talk about all the possibilities, the wackiness, the impossible scopes of mathematics. It's really interesting. They talk about how, as the author Mario Livio said, God must be a mathematician because mathematics is in every laws of physics, chemistry, and biology, and even economics, and who knows, maybe of psychology. Finally, they come back to their own area of expertise, that is the knowledge brain quadrant or grain quadrant, denoted by the arrow 4A. Then they talk about the principles of mathematics and how everything is bound together. Now, all of this is fine, and it is written keeping in mind that their colleagues at their universities or corporations or some associations will look at and will judge them. Of course, it's meant for the layman, but something is amiss. And this is where my book, How to Love Your Studies, The Four Brain Learning by Manohar Maan Shrestha comes in. I am a free writer. I am not bound by any associations or credentials. There is nobody to dethrone me because I am not in a throne, first of all. I do not have tenure in any university, and my consulting, counseling, motivation career is independent of my academic standings. So basically, I have lots of freedom. This is what I have used to write this book. That is why sometimes, especially in this chapter, you are experiencing incredible claims that even possibly made you want to close the book or shut your mobile, if not bad mouth me through negative reviews. But my heart was always in the right place. I never claimed my authority on mathematics. My only claim is that I love mathematics, and I can make students who are very poor in mathematics love it, if not stop hating it. So my starting position is in the yellow brain quadrant or the wisdom brain quadrant, as you can see in the diagram. I start with impossible, illogical, and almost confabulated premises of mathematics. I did that throughout the book, and I'll be doing that in the upcoming 10 chapters on the various subjects. But the extravagance of my voice and writing style is most predominant in a serious subject like mathematics. I'm breaking all the laws of mathematics. By the way, you might be wondering what I mean by that. Again, it's something not so serious. For me, the law of mathematics is that it has to be spoken in a voice dictated by rules and proper definition. Another law would be that you cannot make jumps that would break those rules, and that would be a sin. Anyway, so coming back to my approach in this book is that after I showed mathematics in multiple disciplines, I moved to the red brain quadrant through the arrow, as you can see, as 1B. Here I provided real-life examples that you'll recall in the earlier sections. Then I'll be talking gently about the various rules and definitions that correspond to the skill brain quadrant or the blue quadrant of mathematics. And finally, I'll be talking about the overall principles of mathematics and how it helps us think better, and that is denoted by the arrow 3B. Finally, I come back to the original yellow quadrant wherefrom I started. I'll be talking about how math can be used in unimaginable disciplines. So in this way, unlike the other authors that I mentioned, I am not bound by the laws of mathematics. In this way, I have exercised immense freedom in teaching this subject. You as a reader, consequently, shouldn't feel the limits imposed by those laws of mathematics, and you should fly with me into the infinite possibility of the four brain learning approach, especially of mathematics.